Alana Jaylo.
Yes.
I was just the victim of a form of domestic violence
I just, I
from you.
just, well, I had a pillow and I came up behind him and, well, actually, I wasn't quite behind him, but I hit him on the head a couple times.
Should I call a shelter and maybe have the police take you in for questioning?
It was just a pillow.
Oh, that's what they all
For
say.
crying out loud. It was
You
just a
know,
pillow.
that's a common saying by spousal abusers. They say, well, it's just this or it's just that or your feelings don't really matter. So, I don't
Oh my goodness. Wouldn't that be kind of a weird PSA? For to kind of, I mean, if you want to be really funny, I'm not saying domestic violence is funny, but to be, to kind of poke fun at domestic violence commercials and have somebody being reported in because they were hit with pillows.
That would be great.
It's just a pillow. I don't know. I'm just kidding. See, I'm starting to get your humor from you, Bubs.
That's good. I'm rubbing off.
I'm starting to pick up some of your your humor. It's kind of weird.
Aren't you glad though?
I guess in some ways.
Because it makes you see the world in a better way, I think.
Does
when
it?
you think like me. As far as humor goes.
Okay. You think I have a good sense of humor, don't you?
It's okay, but mine is incredible. I really do believe
But you say that about yourself a lot, Bubs.
Well, the things that I suck at a lot of things, but the things that I'm really good at and have a taste that is like in a league all by its own is I have a great sense of humor, I have awesome taste in movies, and I have excellent taste in music.
You
And
do.
TV shows.
But I have an
And
excellent
books.
But I have an excellent taste in music too.
I'm great with pop culture and humor. But my taste is like a step beyond everybody
Oh
else's.
my goodness.
It is.
Oh my goodness.
That's just the way I feel.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
But doesn't every guy say that about themselves? Not every guy. I shouldn't say that.
I don't know if everyone does, but in my case, it happens to be true.
Oh, jeez.
I'm in a league by my own babes.
A little conceited, are you?
No, I'm lonely. Because when you look at the world like I do, and you realize that you're pretty much the only one, it's sad. I mean, I do believe that God put me on this earth to teach people how to experience things, but it's a lonely journey sometimes.
Oh my.
Has my sense of humor... You just made a farting noise.
Yeah. It wasn't real.
Okay.
Just to let you know.
The way I look at the world, has it ever affected you when you're around a relative or on the phone with somebody else and you realize that you're laughing at something that a year ago may have seemed inappropriate?
Not yet.
But you're expecting it.
I don't know if I'm expecting it, but this is just like a small example. I don't know. You've been if you're around someone long enough, you'll pick up some things.
That's very
Pretty
good.
soon I'll start talking like you. Well, maybe not talking like you.
How do I talk?
Sometimes when you ask a question, you're like, "Do you think that da 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 da?" And you asked really good questions actually.
Thank you.
Sometimes weird and funny ones, like, "Why would you ask that now?"
Again, it comes with being such a unique person.
Oh, good grief.
So,
I'm dealing with a braggart.
Not only am I going to be birthday boy, but I'm only birthday boy Jaylo.
Wagglet.
Even though I'm going to be with you this year.
Oh.
You want to know something sad about battered women's shelters?
Is this a true statement?
I believe so.
What is?
And of course, I started laughing after I said that. But this is supposed to be a serious
Okay, it's a serious thing. We're not joking about this one, folks.
We are not.
Oh, have you actually been to one?
No.
Okay.
But I heard... Mm-hmm. So, I used to host a internet radio show back in the day when I would interview people from the disability community.
Was it only on the internet, or could you catch it on
specific stations?
A specific station.
I believe they may have played it overnight.
Oh, wow.
But don't quote me on that.
Okay.
In any event, I had a guest on, and she was telling me that a lot of wheelchair users will get rejected from battered women's shelters because they're not designed, they're not wheelchair accessible, many of these shelters.
That's not right.
Yeah.
That is not right. Wow. Okay, so uh, that now here's a question I'm thinking about, right? Um, First off, that's not right. Isn't that some way like some kind of discrimination against that? Because if a place is not if a person really has to go to a battered women's shelter, which that's not good. Um, but if a person in a wheelchair has to go to a battered women's shelter because she has been abused by her husband or boyfriend or whoever it is, um, where is she gonna go?
I've heard that
Yes,
oftentimes it'll drive women back into the arms of the abuser because of just what you said.
they don't know where to go.
Exactly.
Wow, that's not right. That's not right. I mean, for a blind person, it's not a big thing, right? Because if a blind person is mobile, they can walk up and down stairs and whatnot. But um, yeah, that's not good. Hmm. Interesting. Now, does this person actually work at a shelter, or did they go to a shelter or visit a shelter? How is it?
If I recall correctly, and it's been a number of years, she was an artist
Mm-hmm.
who was a wheelchair user, but was mainstreamed and was fascinated with the idea of what's going on, what do other women who are wheelchair users have to deal with. And so you did a bunch of research in this area.
Wow, that's terrible.
I've always been shocked since hearing
That's
that. It's stuck with me.
that is something that needs to change. That is terrible. Wow. If any, if ever there were a place that a person in a wheelchair needs to access, it's a battered women's shelter. It's a battered women's shelter. I mean, that's
Let me ask you something, Jaylo.
yes.
Do you think, as I've often said before,
Do you think yes?
that the disabled community is in some ways bad at organizing together around a common goal? Because you think that this would be something that blind people and the deaf community should help out on,
You know,
as far as
you
writing
mean
the
like
congressman.
you mean like all disabilities coming together and rallying around?
This one issue, even though it only affects a particular kind of disability.
I think you might be onto something because I never heard of anything like I've never heard of wheelchair users and deaf people rallying around a group of blind people to make I don't know streets safer for cane users or um, or wheelchair accessible shelters for women, right? I think you're right about that.
Yeah, in fairness, I think I have heard of wheelchair users coming together to help make safer crosswalks.
Okay,
But
that's the only thing.
I think in general, it's tough to get the entire community to agree on an issue.
I think you're right because each, um, what should I say, branch or something? Not branch. Each,
Each group, I would say.
each group. Yeah, thank you. Each group has their own issues to deal with, I guess, and it's, I don't know. You might be onto something though.
How does that make you feel?
Um, I would like, it's disappointing. I would like to see disability groups getting together to help out in one specific area that we all would agree on. Not just the blind group here, the deaf group here, the people in wheelchairs there. autism, people that are autistic. I mean, it, wherever they are. I mean, I honestly think that there should be a way for all those groups to meet and um, agree on one issue, like, for example, domestic violence. Yeah.
Yes. I think it would be very cool. And I'm honestly surprised that there hasn't been more of that.
Did I ever tell you that for when I was a senior in high school, I really wanted to do a project on domestic violence, but it never happened?
Why not? Did your teacher threaten to hit you?
No.
The one that
No,
you were going out with?
What?
Sorry, bad joke.
What? No, not that one.
Okay.
No, and it was a woman that I
Was going out with.
No.
Okay.
Would you stop?
No, I'm joking, babes. Keep going.
I think it's because I wasn't able to find one, and I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure if. I think I was having some problems trying to find one, but domestic violence was an issue that really touched me personally, and I won't go into that here, but it touched me so personally that I wanted to do something. I wanted to learn more about it, and I wanted to do something, even if it was for 25 hours, to help make a difference.
Didn't you end up volunteering at a domestic violence shelter?
No, that was a homeless shelter.
And you turned a couple people down around this time of year, I might add.
I had to. It was not my choice. It was a women and children's gospel mission, and at the time, I was 19 years old, and I was volunteering during my Christmas break, so I did this for about a couple weeks, give or take. And I was the receptionist for I was a receptionist for the 2 weeks, and the woman who was training me, she told me, if you have any questions, just ask me. And so I would get these calls from women who were either depressed, or one woman called me because she was just kicked out of her house, like literally kicked out of her house. And I said, what should I do? I don't know what to do. And she said, you have to turn them away because we don't have enough beds. And there were some people I think there were a couple people that left, but nobody was leaving.
For the most part.
For the most part, it didn't seem like, and I don't know if each person had a time limit on how long they can stay there, because some homeless shelters have that, but I don't think this one did. And I had to turn people away and say, I'm sorry, but we don't have enough openings. There are no beds. I'm sorry, we don't have enough. And it was really sad because it was during the holidays, and it touched me. It touched me a lot because, I can go to a home where there's food on the table, there's a roof over my head, there's a bed for me to sleep in. I can rest my head on my pillow and know that I'm not going to be cold at night. I'm not going to be hungry. I'm not going to be scared, right? Because I'm with people that I love and that care about me. But these young women, I mean, some of them were my age, some of them were 19, some of them were 18, some of them had children, and they just for some reason they ran on hard times, and some of them were getting off of drugs and they were trying to get their kids back, and it was very sad to see that. It really was.
I want to know what Christmas Eve and day were like for you that particular year. So, for example, did your family have a big celebration? Did you have to skip it if they did because you were working at the shelter?
No, I didn't have to skip anything. We didn't have a. I remember we didn't have a lot of presents that year, because we did have a party, but we didn't open a lot of gifts that year because I can't remember why. But but we still had a celebration. We still had our get together. And it was actually a nice. We actually did have a nice time.
But
But it made me appreciate, you know, because it's not about the it's as you get older into your late teens and early 20s, you kind of think about Christmas differently, I think. And that year I thought about Christmas differently.
were you sad noticeably?
No, I wasn't sad. It just made me think a lot about how blessed I am to be in a loving family, and women, even young women that were my age, even we're not in a good situation.
Did you ever consider going into that line of work full time?
I don't know if I could do that. That just seems really stressful. You mean to work for a shelter?
Yes.
I don't know. That's a little. I don't know if I could do that, because you see people come in, you see people go out. Yeah, I don't know. And some, not all, but in the homeless community, there are some people that are noticeably mentally unstable, as you know.
Oh yeah, I have relatives in that community.
Yes, mentally unstable because of their own bad choices.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a there's a huge stigma around homelessness, that you can't deal with them because some of them are not to be trusted and they might hurt you. Which there is some truth to it, but at the same time, every person's case is different.
I have a little bit more conservative take than you do on this. In the sense that I've met many homeless people who are very, very unstable,
Mm-hmm.
and so I'm always the guy who's a little bit more
Mm-hmm.
on edge when I'm around members of the homeless community. And it doesn't mean that they're all like that, but
No,
it just means I haven't had the best experiences.
I understand, and I'm a little bit like that too, but at the same time, you kind of have to, each person is different, but at the same time, there are people that either choose to be homeless and they don't want to do for themselves, and those are the ones that really test my patience.
I've known people like that.
You know what I mean? I mean, people that want to bum off of other people. They don't want to live in a regular environment, and they just choose to panhandle for the rest of their life. And they like it because then no one's telling them what to do. They can travel wherever they want to, but it's not the life I want to lead. And yeah, I know sometimes I'm very, very leery of those people, and I think for good reason. But at the same time, there are people that are not like that, and they had like a huge fire in their house.
Or a mental disability.
Right.
I've known a lot of people like that too.
Exactly, and you can't throw the baby out with the bathwater sometimes.
How do you think we end homelessness? Or do we, as a society?
I think something needs to be done, but there's a lot of factors that contribute to it, because I did a project on the factors that contribute to homelessness as we're talking about this. Well, there is the idea, I know some shelters are doing that, where you can stay in a shelter for a certain time, but you have to find a way to get on your feet again. Whether it's getting a job, going to school, finding a new place to live, but they're going to give you an allotted time to do that. And then of course, there's also like, you can be in the shelter, but you also have to get drug treatment if you're on drugs. There's a lot of things that contribute to it, and sometimes a person's homelessness is because of their own bad choices, like we talked about.
Right. And sometimes they've just fell on hard times.
Yes, and they're just normal people that are trying to get by.
And a lot of times it's a combination of things.
Yeah, and they wouldn't even dream about taking anything from anyone. Some people are, but at the same time, it's hard to tell sometimes. Would you say?
I would.
It is hard to tell.
But I think, and this is like the more liberal side of my personality, right?
Uh-huh.
We need more low income housing, and we need resources. So programs that are specifically designed, or buildings that are for homeless people, that have maybe an on-site counselor or two that are there to work with the population to make sure that they don't fall behind on their rent, to make sure that they have access to certain needs. Um, but that's way easier said than done. I don't control the financing of this country. I was just going to say, I know that homelessness is a huge problem here in Portland.
It is very huge.
And it's getting a lot worse, especially
Yeah.
since coronavirus.
I don't think that a solution is to allow tents to be on the street. Would you agree?
Yes, I would definitely agree.
Because it's such a hazard for anyone who is walking out of their apartments and houses, especially for a blind person. My goodness, you don't want to trip on that thing. I remember, and so there's a back door in my apartment building that I don't think we've walked outside of. But my relative and I, when she was here, we would go to the store and we would leave from the back door. And as we walked out the back door, sometimes not too far from us, even especially outside the front door, you would see tents and more tents and more tents, and you would also see trucks and cars that people are sleeping in, and it was really sad to see. It's one thing if you have a car that's safely parked out of the way or a truck out of the way, but a tent is like, it takes up a lot of space.
A big reason, I got something stuck in my throat. I think because we had those chocolate turtle things.
Oh, turtles are good, by the way.
Those are really good. We'll get to those in a minute.
Yes.
But a major reason I take Lyft to your apartment
Yes.
is because I don't want to go through buy these homeless tents.
Yeah.
And because homeless people, I've noticed, are pretty rude to blind people.
Oh, yes.
And I don't want to go off on somebody.
No.
Because I will go off on somebody.
Yeah. I mean, they haven't been, well, maybe they may have, but I wasn't sure. Yeah, I would imagine they would be, because they wouldn't move out for anyone.
Well, not only that, but they'll make snide comments.
Right.
And Rick doesn't take that shit. I don't care if you're homeless or not.
Of course not. You don't deserve, nobody deserves to have a snide comment made to you if you don't deserve it. Or you don't deserve any of those comments at all.
Sometimes people do, but if I'm just walking and you're like, hey, you're not really blind, or I want to break that fucking cane, then it's hard for me to hold back.
Yeah, it's a little bit, yeah. Yeah, but, I mean, you know, and you know, I initially, of course, you would want to, you know, yell back and make them hurt as much as they hurt you with their words, but at the same time, it's like, you know, sometimes those people are just not worth your time and energy.
Yeah, and I'm bad at turning it off, at least in the moment. Like, I can do it later on when I've had time to process the situation. But in the actual moment, it's difficult for me.
Believe me, I mean, there were times where I wanted to get out of character and you know, comment on what they just said. But it's like, yeah, after a while, after I've cooled down, I'm like, you know what, they're not worth my time and energy, and I'm probably not going to see this person again.
When your relative was here, I know y'all would go to the store a lot.
Y'all, we're not in the South.
Well, okay, good for us. Nobody wants to be there. Babes, don't tickle me, okay?
Is that a snide comment?
Yes, it was. Hey, that's my armpit.
No snide comment.
Babes. Did any homeless people make any weird comments to you?
No. No, No, we just kind of hurried.
Because I've had it happen around this area when coming to see you.
No, we hurried along because we didn't want to be there long enough. We didn't want to be there more than what we had, more than we had to.
Nice.
Because my mom and I were very much relative. Who may be mom.
Who you call mom.
Who I call mom.
Yes. I like that we're not allowed to say it's your mom. but because you don't want to say it, but
Well, I could. I suppose I could.
can we just come out now and say your mom came to see you?
My mom came to see me. No, no. The part of the reason why I don't talk about my relatives on this thing is, because I don't know. I just sometimes I like to keep my family things private for the sake of my family.
Oh.
You know.
Yes.
Just as a respect. Anyway. So, okay, the secret's out. She's my mother. Anyway.
Even though it's been said many times and
yes, it is my
throughout
mother.
the course of this show.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anyway. But we would hurry along because we don't know, and it's hard to tell because we don't know if they're going to say something bad to us or if they're going to try to hurt us or if they're going to try to bum money off of us or try to get us to buy them food. And we're busy, you know. We have to run some errands, so we're not going to be able. We don't want to stay there longer than we have to. So, I've come to the conclusion that even though I want to learn the neighborhood, I probably won't be walking around by myself.
I think we wait to see what happens with the vaccine. And if they can get homeless people off the street or if more people get evicted. And...
I think I've come to the conclusion that I don't want to walk around the neighborhood by myself, even if especially with the tents around. I'm not really comfortable with that. And thank goodness nothing happened to me or her, and because she was around, she was able to see that. It's a little bit worse if you're walking from the front doors, as you know that, right?
Yes.
Yeah. From the back door, it isn't too bad.
My neighborhood is better in that respect than your neighborhood.
Yeah, I think there needs to be some kind of an overhaul or some way to improve it so that they don't come to this neighborhood.
I don't like all the encampments.
I don't either. It's such a hassle to try to work your way around it and to try to not run into people.
I've heard too, like on the Springwater Trail now, there's homeless people who bikers will, just be there to ride, and homeless people will like set up things so the bikers hit like cans and stuff like that, and it ruins their experience.
Springwater Trail, did we go on that one?
Yeah, we did with our tandem group.
Oh right. Oh okay. Oh yeah. Right. You're right.
Yes.
I did not know that. Wow, that's terrible.
But I've not experienced that myself because I have not been biking now in over a year.
I know. I really want to get back to that, but we will.
Hopefully.
We should. But it's, how do you tell whether a homeless person is just somebody that is trying to get by and doesn't want to hurt anybody to a homeless person that would deviously set things up for people to trip over, that would go out of their way to be rude to them, that would go out of their way to try to bum things off of them. It's hard to tell sometimes.
That's above my experience. Important question I would ask is, where do you put all these homeless people? Because you don't want these encampments like you have near your place. But you don't also just want people spread all out throughout the city where they have no connection to the world.
I think that if a homeless person has relatives that are willing to take them in for a little bit, that is one temporary option. I also think that it is a good first step to have shelters that have an allotted time for a person to stay there, because it motivates them to it motivates them to either get a job, find a new place, or to go to rehab.
Right, but that's assuming that the homeless person has family in the area or access to the stuff.
But I understand that, but I think it's one of the first steps that we can take.
I remember back in the day, they might still have it. They had an area called Dignity Village, and if you were homeless, it was like an encampment, but I think you had to prove that you were off drugs to stay there.
Oh, okay.
It might be interesting to have more areas like that. But
Right.
you specifically know these are the streets and sidewalks where it's a homeless community.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just set aside for that.
Yeah. I mean, in Hawaii, I've been hearing stories about people just living on the beaches.
Mm-hmm.
And and a lot of these families have children. It's not a, Hawaii is a beautiful place to live, but living on the beach is not a safe place to live.
Did you ever read that book, Tunnel People?
No, you told me about it.
That's a really good book. But there was a story about this couple who was living in the sewage system in New York, and
Oh
they
my!
had a baby daughter.
In a sewage system?
But it was like a clean area of it, I think, or something.
Ooh. Every time I think about people living in tunnels, it just like makes my skin crawl.
The book was either based in New York or San Francisco. I want to say New York. It's been so many years since I've read it.
Did they interview a bunch of people and did they explain how they were living? Like where were they sleeping and eating?
What had happened was the author stayed in this tunnel system, I believe in New York, in the sewer area, and he met a bunch of homeless people.
Oh my goodness.
So the book is about his time doing that.
That's a dangerous thing to do, I think.
Really good book, though.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Yeah.
And when was this written?
I read it in the mid 2000s, but it probably came out in around 1995 or 6.
You know what? That should be like a documentary.
I think they have some on this.
Really?
I remember back in the day, in the 90s, watching a story about this on, I want to say 48 Hours of all places.
Oh,
One of your
really?
favorite shows, yeah.
Yeah, one of them, yeah. Wow. But 48 Hours, I don't know if they used to report on stories like this. Now it's just mysteries.
Back when Dan Rather was around, before he kind of got the boot because of George
Oh.
W. Bush.
Dan Blather.
Oh, you just don't like him because he came out against George W. Bush.
No, I never said that. I just think he's an old fart and
Oh my goodness. You know, I knew Bush supporters who thought that Dan Rather got railroaded.
Oh, okay. I did not know about that story actually.
Yes.
But anyway, I think we're off track here.
Okay.
So what about like did it talk about like because in the New York tunnel system there's been like rat problems and stuff like rodents and everything.
Yes.
Did they talk about that?
It mentioned it. It didn't go too in depth. So one thing that was interesting was people would have their own area of the tunnel system, and there was like this barter trade that would go on between everybody else who lived down there. Some people would have lights. Other people would figure out a way to actually like cook meals and get electricity down there.
Wow.
Some people had like radio systems hooked up.
Wow.
It seemed very interesting. I don't know if that still goes on today though.
That's like really dangerous to do that, I think.
It is, but part of me wishes I was the reporter for a couple of days just to kind of see what that was really like.
But these people were living in cleaner areas of the tunnel system.
Correct.
So that must have been a huge tunnel system then.
In New York, supposedly it is.
Wow.
And there was one guy who was kind of like the unofficial leader.
Uh-huh.
He was a person that would be interviewed for documentaries or could contact the media if there was an issue.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's very risky. It is. It's very risky.
Yes.
But makes for good reading and possibly a good documentary.
I finished the book in a couple of hours. I could look for a documentary for you. Because I would be interested to watch one.
I might read Tunnel People, actually.
Really, really
Is
good.
it on Bard?
It might be. That's not where I found it. Because this was long before I was a member.
Okay.
I could probably get you a copy, though.
Or I could look on Bookshare, too.
Okay.
They have a lot of stuff.
Sounds good.
So, I mean, okay, so... Yeah, I just don't know that I could I could live in a place like that because especially where the sewage comes out of, smells, you know. It, I was always raised in clean areas, in clean houses, and there was a, um, my I don't know. It just doesn't sound like a very clean and safe way to live.
Maybe not.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Babes.
Yes.
I called you last night because I did not do laundry the last week or so.
Oh, goodness.
And when your mom was here, who is also your relative, she bought you this little washer thing.
Yes, she insisted on it.
You were like, "Oh, you're going to be great. I can just hang up these clothes, okay?"
Well, no, because, so when we got it, she said it was going to be really good, and it definitely is helpful if you don't want to go downstairs, because you can wash shirts and some sweaters, maybe like 3 sweaters each. The things you can't wash in there are towels, because they're a little bit heavier. You could probably wash pants in there too, but she was trying to, and we had to figure this out, because she was trying to figure out a way that I could wash it, use it, and make sure that the cord doesn't get caught in the bathtub, because it would only use like a little bit of water from the tub, and it would wash using just a little bit of detergent, like very little. And there's some things we have to work out with that, and I have a feeling that she's going to be the one that's using it the most.
When you told me that your mom was getting this, I thought, oh, this is a recipe for disaster. But anyway, and I already, we already know that you also got to explain to your mom that she's not going to be your next roommate and all that stuff. But anyways, because when I keep hearing about your mom buying stuff, I'm thinking, I hope she knows she's not Alana's next roommate.
She does, but I think her idea is when she's here, she wants some things there so it's easier for her to manage. But I'm thinking to myself, but is it? I mean, this is my apartment. I can't always accommodate people all the time.
I think you need to get rid of the washer and just say that it broke down or management made you take it out. But that's neither here nor there.
That's neither here nor there. That was, I told her that I don't know that would be a good idea, because, and I wasn't too sure, I think there are. I don't remember. I think she said she had one in her house.
Okay.
I can't remember.
Well,
but it sounds. I mean, if you know how to use it, for sure, it's good. If you know how to use it, but I think we're gonna see how that's gonna work out.
So far, it's not working out too well, because I called you last night and I said, "Hey, babe, I'm feeling kind of lazy. It's a little bit late. I just want to chill out. Do you mind if I bring over some dirty clothes tomorrow and wash them here, since I'm going to be spending like 5 days with you?" And you were like, "No, okay. I don't know how to use this thing."
No,
okay.
I really don't. I was hoping that I would be able to use it, but no, I'm sorry.
No, that's right, babe.
I didn't know it was going to be that complicated, and my mom hasn't figured out, like, well, how's this going to be? I don't know. How is this going to work out?
I would call the city and have it hauled away, because right now it's just taking up space. But that's not why
I'm not going to do that.
Not yet.
Bubs.
Okay, babes. Can I get a kiss?
No.
Yes. Yes, I can.
No.
Yeah, give me a kiss.
No.
Yeah. Oh, great. Yeah. Well, I went to bed at around 11:30 last night.
Mm-hmm.
And because I had to do laundry, since I can't do it here even though there's a washer, I woke up at 4 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
My alarm went off.
Yes.
Did some laundry, got ready, called you, got a lift over here. Had a really interesting conversation with the driver.
Mm-hmm.
She saw that I had a pizza stone.
Uh-huh.
So we started talking about cooking.
Mm-hmm.
And she's from Hawaii too.
Mm-hmm.
She's from Oahu.
Oh, yep. That's
Yep.
my stomping grounds.
Yes,
where
you
I was
am.
born.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I get over here at around, what, 7:20?
Yeah, close to 7:30, somewhere around there.
We hang out for a while. Then we got the Walmart order that I put in for the night before.
And it was a big one.
Yes.
But it was good because everything was pretty much there.
They only had to replace one item. This is why I love Walmart.
Wait a minute. Did we get garlic?
Yes, we did. I thought, didn't we? I thought I took garlic out and gave it to you.
I have to check. I think there might be a bag. I have to check the counter.
I could have sworn we took garlic out, but now that you're saying it, I'm not 100% sure.
I took onions out.
I know you did.
But I couldn't find any. I didn't see any garlic unless there was a bag that I didn't put away yet. Which, if there was a bag, it would have probably been a lighter bag because I put all the bigger stuff away.
We will come back to that.
Okay.
But as far as what it said on the app, they replaced one item, that was a thing of cheese, and everything else we got.
Yes.
Which I was also kind of surprised considering that it's December 23rd when we're doing this.
I know. I was surprised at how much stuff we were able to get.
We would not have that kind of luck with Instacart.
Well, I mean, I did shop with them yesterday.
But they replaced a lot of stuff.
No, they didn't.
Okay.
No, they didn't. They only replaced like one thing.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really funny that we both have had different experiences with two what do you call two
shopping
delivery
apps.
services.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some good, some not so good.
I thought the driver today was not the best.
Okay.
The Walmart person.
Okay.
He wasn't horrible. He just kind of like put the groceries down and kind of walked off.
And he goes, "Is this for you?" And
yeah.
Because usually the Walmart people they seem to go out of their way to make sure that, but he wasn't bad.
It's just there's a bench outside of your building,
yeah.
And when we came down, he was just putting stuff on the bench and then just walked away.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of impersonal.
I did too, but it is what it is.
He's probably in a hurry.
Yeah, and he's gonna get an average tip from me.
Yeah.
Usually, though, if I get good service, I will go on the app and up the tip, though.
Yes.
Yes, that will not happen today.
No.
But he'll still get a tip.
He'll still get a tip. It just won't be as generous.
Yes.
It won't be a generous tip.
That's right. And I forgot to cancel the bread.
The French baguette.
Because we had talked about it, and I just assumed that I had canceled it, and apparently I didn't press the right button last night.
Oh.
But that's okay. There's plenty of stuff we can do with it, babes.
Yes, we can. I mean, we are going to have a lot of turkey.
I know, babe.
You know, we could do, Bubs, and here's an idea.
I'm listening, Jaylo.
We can make like open face sandwiches.
That's a possibility.
We can. Actually, I'm glad you bought it because we there's so many things to do. We could pile it up with mashed potatoes and turkey and some gravy. And make an open face sandwich out of them, or just regular sandwiches.
Or we could make toast tonight with our dinner.
We could. I also have cornbread too.
I thought we were waiting until Christmas to get into that. Unless you wanted to get into it now.
Well,
because we do have a lot of stuff for Christmas.
I know we do. I don't know that I want toast with dinner tonight, though.
That's fine. We don't have to. It was just an idea, babe.
Yeah, but we can definitely use it to. We can definitely use it one of these nights for dinner.
Yes. And then Jaylo. We took a nap.
I was the one who was the most tired out of the both of us.
But I think I ended up sleeping longer than you did in some ways because you said that you heard me kind of like snoring or something.
No, you woke up because my phone kept ringing and I couldn't tell the number because sometimes when it rings it doesn't always tell me the number, and so I just there's this number, and I won't mention it. There's this number that keeps calling me, and I need to find a way to block it because it shouldn't be calling me, and then when it leaves a message, it doesn't leave. I don't hear anything. It's just blank. But I did get a call from another relative of mine, and apparently I may have gotten a package.
Was it a dildo that she bought? Ah, why are you tickling me? I was
Why
just a
would
guess.
you ask me that? You're just...
Don't tickle me! Don't tickle me! You don't think so?
Ah! No.
Did
oh
you
my... Why would you even ask me that?
I was just a
No.
guess, babe. I can
No,
guess.
well, first off, she asked me what I would need, and it wasn't that.
Okay, good.
That's disgusting.
Yes. Why tickle me so, babe? I just
can't
made a
believe
guess.
you. I can't.
Oh, I think you need to give me a chance to calm down. No, we're kissing for your sake, babe, not mine. Babes, no farting noises, okay? Gee, whoa. I know, give me a little kiss, no farting noises.
Stop it.
What?
Enough.
Okay.
Being bad boy.
No, I'm being good boy, and soon I'm gonna be good birthday
Rascal
boy.
boy, rascal.
I'm gonna be good
Wicked
birthday boy.
rascal.
Couple of days, I'm gonna be good birthday
Little
boy.
rascal boy. Yes, that's right.
Yes.
2 days from now, you are going to be the birthday boy.
I'm excited. I'm gonna be a good birthday boy,
I'm going to be
Jaylo.
good birthday boy.
Birthday boy.
And I am so excited to, as I've been saying, I'm so excited to give you your present because I think you're going to like it.
Very nice, babes.
Yeah.
Yes. Jaylo,
Yes.
do we want to talk about what happened on Sunday with the rice?
Yes, it was a better experience.
So, we stopped recording, hang out for a little while. Jaylo needed to make out with me, and everybody understands why. We go to make rice, and Alana is explaining to me, oh, I wash the rice, then I rinse it, and then it's in the water. And I was like, this doesn't make any sense. And you just kept saying, let me show you how I do it, okay? I immediately knew it was wrong. You washed the rice with water that you had poured in there, and you drained it, and were planning to put it into the rice cooker without any water.
But I quickly made sure that the water was drained, because I wasn't going to. Yeah, I quickly drained the water that was in there, and then I finally filled the container up with the water that should be in there.
After I told you, babes, this is why your rice isn't cooking. But you said that your mom did the same thing.
I think I assumed it because the first time she did it with the rice cooker, it wasn't as soft, but I was partially wrong about that.
Why did you not put water in the rice? I mean, why did you think that was the right route to go?
It's probably because I don't know why. I don't know what I was thinking. And maybe it's because I haven't done it in so long, even though I know the process of it. But now that I figured out exactly why it didn't turn out good the first.
I actually figured it out, babe.
Well, I figured it out too, bub.
After I told you, babe.
No, not after.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Ah, no, you tickled me. No, you figured it out because No, you did. I told you what was wrong with it, and that's how you came to the conclusion.
No, I knew something was wrong with it, and I knew it had something to do with the water.
No, but
I just skipped it. Sorry.
You didn't know what was wrong with it, and I figured it out, and that's how you figured it out.
No.
No.
Not necessarily. No. Well, that's because I told you to watch what I was doing. Just
right.
So but anyway, besides that.
I'll never get the credit I deserve in this lifetime.
Not this time.
Uh-oh.
You will get credit with other stuff, but not this.
Even though it was clearly me who helped you figure it out. Keep going, babes.
Okay.
I'm listening.
But it turned out really good because we added, when it was starting to cook up nicely, we added some butter, some garlic, and a little bit of salt, and some black pepper, and butter. The butter made it taste really good. And after all that was cooked, we put a slice of cheddar cheese on top of it. Was it a couple slices?
It was one slice.
It was a slice of cheddar cheese, and it just made it all so good.
Yes, it was.
So good.
Yes.
And tonight, it's going to be even better because we are going to have teriyaki chicken again.
With
and
broccoli.
It's going to be fabulous.
And this time, Jaylo is going to cook the rice.
Yes, I will.
Instead of just putting it on the bono.
No, I am going to cook the rice.
Very good, yeah, wash.
Yes. And then when that starts to cook, we're going to put some things in there, spices.
I'm excited, babes.
Yes.
Yes.
We are.
Jaylo.
Yes.
One of the movies we have decided to watch this weekend is Julie and Julia. We're watching that tomorrow. This year I read the book, which was very, very good.
I really want to watch it. I heard it was a really good movie, and I like cooking stuff.
Yeah, you might want to check out the book first.
Well, it's too late. We're going to watch it tomorrow.
Yeah, but you could listen at night when we go to bed after the punch.
Oh my goodness.
But that's not the reason. That's not the reason I bring that up.
Okay.
The last couple of days, I've been watching a lot of Julia Child videos. Mm-hmm. And I'm curious how familiar you are with her work.
I'm not that familiar, but I've seen some of her, clips of some of her shows. First off, she's got a very distinct voice. No one can forget it.
Right.
I mean, it's kind of funny.
This is delicious. I first had this in France.
In France.
Me and my husband were trying to find this duck, and finally I decided to make it at home.
Didn't she say that her husband died or something, or?
She had a weird situation.
Yeah.
Her husband, Paul, had a stroke,
Ooh.
I believe in 1974.
Mm-hmm.
And because of it, he had complications with his brain.
Oh.
And was no longer completely there. He didn't die until, I want to say, 96.
Mm-hmm.
So he had like 20 years of just like in and out of it.
Mm-hmm.
She has said, or did say, that he really helped her come into her own.
Mm.
Because she didn't really start cooking until she was around 37, I want to say.
Wow.
Yep.
Is it because, was he like the cook in the family? Is that why?
He moved them to France because they were in the army. Uh-huh. He just exposed her to new ideas and interesting ways of looking at the world.
Uh-huh.
What if that happens to you, babe? What if you become Jaylo Child?
No, I don't think so.
Have you ever dreamed about hosting a cooking show?
No.
I have dreamt about that, by the way.
I think you'd be
And I think
great.
I've told you that.
No, you haven't, but that didn't surprise me.
Yeah. Because I think it would be unique to have a blind guy host a cooking show.
Yeah, and I've met some blind people that are excellent cooks.
It's one of those things to where, you know how I am with artistic projects?
Yes.
Some of them I'll really go for, and some of them I just kind of dream about for a while.
Yes.
This is one of those that I dream about because I think it would be complicated to get it off the ground.
Yes.
But it's definitely been something that's been in the back of my mind for a couple of years now.
Yeah. I think it's great.
Yes.
Yes.
Do you think that we should watch some Julia Child on YouTube at some point within the next day or so to prepare, or do you just want to go on cold?
I like watching Julia Child videos, and I like watching cooking videos anyway.
Yeah.
Because you can be just as blind could be, but these videos are so descriptive.
I would be more than willing to watch some videos of her with you.
I think it'd be fun, and we can hear her talk.
This is how you baste a lamb.
This is how you make chocolate truffles.
They're very good. Now I'm going to prepare a tart for you.
I'm going to prepare a tart and potatoes.
She's awesome. Do you want to give the list of films that we will be watching this weekend?
Today we're going to watch The Big Lebowski and... let's see, The Big Lebowski and Edward Scissorhands, which is one of my favorite movies.
You have not seen The Big Lebowski. I haven't watched Edward Scissorhands since the early 90s.
And then what are we watching tomorrow?
Julie and Julia.
And is it Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Yes, which
Yes.
I have seen Who Framed Roger Rabbit, but I watched it with my mom when it first came out in the theaters.
That is such a fun movie. Especially because, the old Bugs Bunny and Tweety characters are in it.
Oh, that's cool.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
And Betty Boop.
Boop was
Boop boy.
Friday night.
Friday night, we are watching, and I'm so excited, we are watching Soul, and I'm not sure which order we're watching it in, but we're watching Mr. Holland's Opus and the new Disney Pixar movie Soul.
That should be a lot of fun. And I've heard that Soul has to do with music and death, so it should be fun. I'm starting to get into Pixar.
Did you say music and death?
Yes.
Oh.
I think the main character dies, but he used to be a musician.
Oh.
And I believe Jamie Foxx voices the character.
Nice. I always liked Disney Pixar stuff. You've never seen Up before.
No, but I keep hearing
Oh
it's
my
really
gosh, we have to watch Up at one time because that is an excellent movie.
good. Maybe next weekend.
Christopher Plummer and I think Christopher Plummer plays the bad guy in the movie.
He's great. He's a great actor.
He is. I mean, he was great in Sound of Music.
Yeah,
we could do.
He was great in that and on Star Trek 6. What could we do?
We could do, if you really want to, we could watch Up first, and then we could watch our favorite one of our favorite classic musicals, The Sound of Music.
But we've seen The Sound of Music.
I know, but I love it so much. I love watching it during the holidays.
Let's get through the list of this weekend. So on Saturday nights, and then we'll immediately go to the next topic, which is the following weekend.
Saturday night, we are going to watch Jojo Rabbit and what's the other one?
It's the one you recommended, August Rush.
Yes, August Rush and Jojo Rabbit, because August Rush has to do with music and sounds and.
I am so
it's
excited
definitely interesting
to show you Jojo Rabbit. I rewatched it on Monday night, and it was one of those things. It was like at 11:30 at night. Mm-hmm. Remember when I told you I went to bed after 1?
Yes.
That was because I watched Jojo Rabbit again. I was planning to rewatch like the first 15 minutes. I just watched the whole thing over again.
Oh, good.
I've told you this. It's one of those movies that I predict you are either going to hate or love, but I doubt there's going to be any in between.
Okay. And the movies that you showed me so far, I don't hate them. There's some that I like more than others, but I don't hate them.
And you've loved some of them, right?
Yes.
Okay. This might fall in the love category. It could easily go to the hate category too, but
okay.
I don't want to give too much away.
Well, tell me why some people don't like it.
Well,
if you can, anyway,
yeah,
without giving too much.
I'll give you an idea. The film is about a 10-year-old who has an imaginary friend. It's based in Nazi Germany, and his friend is Adolf Hitler.
Oh wow, that's a little controversial.
Yes.
A little bit controversial.
Came out last year. It's really good. But
wow.
Moving to next weekend, Thursday we had discussed doing a Alfred Hitchcock night again with The Trouble with Harry and Marnie.
Yes.
Now Friday, you're saying that maybe we should do Up and The Sound of Music.
Possibly.
That might be interesting. I don't want to get into the habit too much of watching films that we've both already seen.
We don't have to watch The Sound of Music. We could watch something else.
We could do
a Disney Pixar thing.
So what other Pixar movie then?
Up is one. Let's see. Have you ever seen the movie Sing?
Haven't even heard of it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh. I only watched parts of it, but what I watched of it, I really liked.
We could do that.
Yeah.
We could do Sing.
I believe Sing is from Disney Pixar.
Nice.
Yeah, and I like Disney Pixar stuff.
And we have any ideas for Saturday, or should we table that discussion?
Why don't we talk about that since it's still Wednesday.
Okay. So Up and Sing for next Friday.
Yes, I think that'd be fun. Just kind of a break from all the heavy stuff that we've been watching.
Yes. But we have some lighter movies this weekend. Jojo Rabbit is a mix of comedy and drama, so that's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
But The Big Lebowski is a straight-up comedy.
Yes.
And I'm so shocked that you have not seen it.
I don't remember seeing it. It's possible I may have seen. Like I said, I mean, there are some movies that I've watched, like on HBO, because, we had, HBO plays movies all the time, and there may have been some movies that I watched and I didn't know what the title was.
It's personally my favorite Jeff Bridges movie.
Ah, he was also in The Mirror Has Two Faces.
I never saw that. I know about it though because Barbara Streisand directed it.
It's supposed to be like a romantic movie with him and Barbara Streisand. It's been so long since I've seen it.
Good actor though.
Yeah.
Yes.
That is Beau Bridges' father, is that right?
Lloyd Bridges.
Oh, Lloyd, I'm sorry.
He's the son of Lloyd Bridges, and Beau is his brother.
Okay, I'm sorry. I get the Bridges mixed up.
And I think they were in, that's okay. They were in a movie together, him and Beau. I think it's called The Fabulous Baker Boys with Michelle Pfeiffer. I haven't seen it, but I've heard it's really good.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes, you will.
Interesting.
Yes, you was.
Yes.
Very good, you will.
Yes.
Yes, you will. Babes.
Yes.
Have you... Oh, before we get to the dreams.
Yes, no, I haven't had dreams.
Oh, okay.
In a while, no. I thought I had a dream this morning, but I don't remember. I was out too, so I don't remember if I had one or not. I don't think I did.
Okay, so we won't really get into that, but
No.
I understand you have started reading 1984.
Yes, and I believe I'm gonna continue that this evening for a little bit. It's really, I mean, and I'm not done with the first chapter yet because it's kind of a lengthy one, but what I've read so far is really interesting.
Where in the story are you?
I'm in the part where Winston is explaining about the four ministries. One of the ministries that he went through was a ministry of love, spelled Luv, not Love.
And it sounds like a very unloving place to be.
No, because that's the ministry of that's supposed to be responsible for the law and order of the town. And he's talking about drinking this gin called the Victory Gin, and he finds it in the ministry, and he gets this book. It's kind of an old book, but he takes it and uses it as a diary, and writes about these war films that he saw and how people were laughing when they were bombed. You know what I mean?
Yep.
People in the war film were hurt. I thought, oh wow, why are they laughing at that? But I'm sure that there's going to be explanations of this. And it mentions the thought police, which I'm anxious to find out about that, even though I have a feeling about what they're talking about.
Yes. Are you playing with something over there, babes?
Yeah, there's something in the basket I was looking at.
Oh, really? What was it?
Comb.
Oh.
Some things that I have in these bags.
First of all, I'm glad you're reading the book.
Yes.
And we'll talk about it more in depth at some point in the near future. But for the moment, are you interested in getting into a discussion over the COVID stimulus bill?
Oh, boy.
And the Trump thing that came out this morning, which I actually think I might have to agree with Trump on this, much as it pains me.
I definitely agree with it. And let me just say this. Okay, this is something I never understood, okay? If we're getting $600 for every American that's struggling right now, but the bill costs $900 billion, right? Roughly $900 billion. You kind of have to wonder, well, where is the rest of the money going? And the money is going to like foreign aid and nightclubs and things, but you don't see anything about only a fraction of it is going to small businesses. And I heard a clip of him say, and I was on board with this. If you're gonna give, get rid of this crummy $600 thing, and give the people at least $1,000 to $3,000.
He said $2,000 for each individual.
$2,000 to $4,000, and I say yes, absolutely.
So I partially like what Trump is doing, and another side of me is very against it. So I'll give you the negative first.
Okay.
And then I'll give you the positive side of it, right? One, why wait until now after everybody's agreed on it to speak out? Like, why couldn't he have spoken out a week ago when they were still negotiating this in the House? Right.
Because here's what I think happened. Because they can't pass it until it gets onto his desk and he reads through the whole thing, because you don't want to pass a bill without reading everything first, reading between the lines, because that's a dangerous thing to do.
Correct, but
Hold on.
go ahead.
I think what happened is that he read it, and there's a lot of pork in it, quote unquote pork. I mean, more pork than a Christmas dinner, I think. And there's some things that the money should not be going to, especially if it's going to China. And we need, if it was really a relief bill, our country has been, and I'm not saying that it is a bad thing to give foreign aid to countries in need, but we've been doing that for a long time, and we need to take care of our own country as well.
So here's the blowback I would place with that. First of all, I agree with what you're saying. Should not be the bill for foreign aid. But while Trump didn't have access to the full bill,
Yeah.
the media was reporting a week ago that it was going to be $600, right? So
Yes.
he could have spoken up then and said, "Why don't we make it $2,000?" instead of waiting until after the Senate had passed it.
Well, I'm sure there's a reason for that, because, I'm sure there was a very good reason why he didn't talk about it, but he does have until December the 20. Oh wait, December 28th is next week.
Yes.
But I do think that I do believe that there may be a resolution to this, but I think that $600 is way too little, and I'm happy with $2,000 to $4,000. I think that's more
babe,
than
we're gonna live it up.
I think it's more than sufficient.
So, and I'm skeptical. I do think that he's doing this because it will help him run for re-election in 2024.
I don't think so.
But I think Biden would do the same thing in his situation.
I don't think Biden cares a whit about what's going on as far as the little guys struggling. I don't think he cares about that at all.
They were reporting on TYT that Biden actually talked with Mitch McConnell about lowering the payments from $1,200 to $600 for the stimulus package. But so I don't think
trust McConnell as far as I can throw him, bribe him.
I don't think Trump is doing this out of the goodness of his heart, but give the devil his due. He is doing something that could potentially be really good.
I think you are wrong about that. I think he really is, because, like I said, Bubs, if you listen to a lot of his speeches, which I'm sure you haven't, but I would challenge you to listen to a lot of his speeches, and you will find out what is on this guy's mind. Because it's one thing to say, yeah, he's just saying that for publicity, but do you really know that? No, you don't, because you haven't listened to a lot of his speeches. I would challenge you to do that.
I don't know that, and I will say this. I listened to a portion of his speech that they played on the Hill this morning where he was talking about the COVID relief package. And I agreed with about 85% of what he said.
Yes, but you have to listen to more of it, Bub.
Okay.
You have to listen to a lot more of his speeches to really get the gist of what he wants. Because you're not going to know that from clips of it. Biden, I've listened to enough stuff of his where I really know what he's thinking, and it's...
Yeah, but I'm not a Biden person either.
I know you're not a Biden person, but I would challenge you. I would highly...
Oh, Lord, it would be a challenge.
Highly challenge you to do that, because you would find out so many things. And so many things you might even agree with. You might. You don't know that.
It's possible.
I would challenge you. I would really challenge you. But that's all I'm going to say about
And
that.
again, I do find it odd that he wouldn't bring this up a week ago when the media was reporting it was going to be $600. But he's doing what I perceive could possibly be the right thing right now.
Oh, no, I think he's definitely doing the right thing.
So we'll see on that. But so here's the question.
Okay.
NPR reported this morning that a lot of the Democrats are backing Trump on this.
I don't know about
The
that.
NPR interviewed some people, congressmen who are Democrats, who are saying Trump is right.
Who were they interviewing?
I don't remember offhand, but we could go back and listen if you like. But here's my point.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that Mitch McConnell will allow this to go through if each person gets $2,000, or will this be the time he chooses to stand up against Trump?
Well, he he better, because there's going to be some angry people, and I'm already angry with Mitch McConnell anyway, because he's not helping us. He's not doing his job like he should be doing.
What do you think of my nickname for Mitch McConnell? Bitch McConnell.
I call him the turtle.
But what do you think of calling him Bitch McConnell?
I'm not calling him that.
Why
if
not?
you want to call him that, you can, but I don't like him as far as I can throw him.
Okay.
Mealy, I like some of the nicknames that I've heard. Mealy Mouth Mitch, Long Game Mitch, the Turtle, because he takes so long, and he kind of talks like this from, and he's got some ties to China too. I don't know if you knew that.
No. The only thing I know is his wife is Chinese. That doesn't mean he has ties.
No. His wife does actually. His wife does have a tie to China.
She's Chinese, from what I've heard.
She is Chinese, but she does have ties to China.
I don't know enough about his wife, to be honest, so it's hard for me to say.
Yeah, you might want to look her up.
Okay.
Elaine Chow.
Well, but I'm not a fan of Mitch McConnell anyways, babe. It's not like I'm here singing his praises.
No, I know,
McConnell.
but I think it's...
It's not like I'm telling you, Mitch is the best.
No, but I think it's important if you want to know behind the scenes about what these establishment people are about. I think it does help to know what you're dealing with here.
Yeah, and we don't have to go down this rabbit hole.
We don't have to go back down this rabbit
because
hole.
I think that Trump is establishment, but we don't have to go there this time.
No, we don't.
Suffice it to say, I don't completely agree with the reasoning behind why Trump is doing this, and the timing is questionable. But he is saying something that I agree with, and so give him his credit on that.
Absolutely.
Yes.
At least we can agree on that, even though I support this. I support him all the way, but you already know how I feel about it.
Maybe a little bit too much, okay.
With good wheezing, bubs.
Oh my goodness.
With good wheezing.
From what I heard, there wasn't going to be any checks to regular Americans until Bernie Sanders refused to vote for it.
Bernie, not a good deal.
Oh, Bernie's a cool guy.
No,
he's
he
made
isn't.
some mistakes though, but
I don't think he's all that great.
I think he's pretty.
I think he's old, and it's time that he retired.
I think he's doing the Lord's work.
Yeah, right.
He's made some mistakes. He's done some things I don't like.
Yeah, the Lord's work. He doesn't know the Lord's work.
Oh, babes. I love you, babes.
Not
There's
even
something
like
else I
half
was
of it.
going to ask you, and now I can't remember it.
I don't know. You'll probably remember it when it's time for dinner.
I know, but it'll give us something else to talk about tomorrow. So, how do you think this plays out? Do you think that the stimulus package gets signed then? Do you think that Mitch McConnell falls in line?
I hope somebody lights a fire under his bottom, because we really need this. I mean, it's not like, we've sacrificed so much for the last 9-10 months of our lives because of this quote unquote pandemic that we're going through, right? I think something has to happen. And if it's $2,000, if it's $4,000, I would be happy with it. But something needs to happen. Because we're suffering here.
I have enough money for rent for next month. So I'm really not too concerned about it. But I do know people who aren't as lucky as I am.
Right. Right.
And I want everybody to have the opportunity to do well.
Yeah, and I am okay with rent, but it would be good to know that I'll be okay for the rest of the month.
Listen, it would be nice to have a little bit extra money.
Yeah.
And $2,000 versus $600. I want to go with the $2,000.
I would too. And as much as I do not like taking things from the government, I think this is something that's. I mean, we are in dire need right now.
Yeah, and it's unusual because we wouldn't be in this position if they didn't want everything shut down. And I know why they did. I'm not one of those COVID deniers, but
it's not so much COVID deniers that are saying it. It's just that the pandemic is being portrayed as this horrible thing when there's a perfect explanation for it. Even though the virus is definitely real, that's not how viruses work. We can go down this rabbit hole.
We don't want to. We don't.
But we don't want to do that because
I've known people who died of COVID, and you've known people who are like, oh, I got a cough, okay, but I still.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Yes, babes.
Yes.
Yes, it was. So we are excited. I think we should maybe end this, make out for a little while, and then do you want to watch some Julia Child? What are you thinking?
Well, I need to go get my mail really quick, and
Okay.
I can do that because I want to make sure that I'm expecting a couple of packages actually, so
Okay.
I want to make sure that I've got them. So.
Then Julia Child or DS9? I say we start with some Julia Child, but
Oh, I want to do Julia. I don't know. I want to take a break from DS9 for a little bit and just do some Julia Child stuff.
okay, this could be a Julia weekend. I am more than happy to do that. So
What were you saying really quick about Laura Vitale? Because didn't you say you had an idea about something that Laura Vitale was cooking?
no, I think that was in reference because we're gonna make cinnamon rolls,
Oh, yes.
and I was watching a couple of her videos on it.
Mm.
This is a time, babes, when I wish you would let me give you my old food processor because it would be so much easier to make cinnamon rolls than that.
I understand.
But yeah, I get that you don't want a food processor.
I don't want one right now. It doesn't mean I won't take one another in the future.
Hands down, personally, my favorite kitchen gadget. But everybody has their own.
Minus the thing for the one blade. Or the top. I mean, what do you call it? The top.
Yeah, I know the top is contentious with a lot of people, but it makes it a lot safer to use.
No, I know. I'm not gonna cook anything without the top. I'm talking about the top that wasn't working.
It wasn't working because somebody.
Bubs, in fairness, Bubs, I wasn't. It was already kind of on its way out before I even got there.
Before you got there that one day, but it started getting warped around the time I said, "Hey, do you want to start using my food processor?" And you would just like twitch it around like,
Yes,
"Why isn't
yes,
this thing
blame
working
it
okay?"
on the goal.
I like that, babe.
Blame it on the new goal for
Well-
at the time.
We were going out for like a year, babes.
Okay, a year. I'm sorry.
What's your favorite kitchen gadget?
Right now.
Yes.
I really like my slow cooker. I haven't cooked anything in it since the last time I cooked something in it.
That's usually how things go, babe.
No, you know what I mean.
Sorry, go ahead. Haha, don't tickle me, babes.
Bubs,
Alright, sorry, go ahead.
get smart with me, boy.
Sorry.
You mean I get your present on your birthday?
What? What?
bad boy.
No,
You
I'm
bad
always good
boy.
boy. I'm
You
gonna be good birthday boy. I'm gonna be
You
good
good
birthday
birthday
boy.
boy?
Yeah.
Okay, Bubs, you better behave yourself.
Alright, but it's a slow cooker though.
No, I do like my slow cooker. I like my rice cooker. I mean, the appliances that I have, I like all of them because they're just they're small appliances and they're easy to use. And I'm thinking in the future I'd like to get a Foreman grill, a small one.
I love mine.
Yeah, because it's so blind accessible. I know several people who have one. I thought about getting a skillet, but I think I might wait on that.
It's so accessible. I used to use it like when I was a teenager and I really sucked at cooking.
So, okay, here's a question because I've never used it alone. But when you plug it in, you have to. Is there. I mean, this might be a stupid question.
Go ahead.
But it has a protective top, right? When you're cooking something, so that you have to close the top when it's on, correct?
Yes, but it starts heating up as soon as you plug it in.
Okay.
Yes. But babes,
Yes.
I think maybe we should make out.
Yeah.
And you go downstairs and then come back and we'll watch Julia Child.
Julia Child, and it's still early in the day. So.
Yes, we could watch a lot of the Child since you don't want to watch DS9ers this weekend. And next week we'll go back to DS9 and go to Heat and Heaven.
Yes.
Oh, gee,
Okay, stop it.
All right, babes.
That's really distracting.
No, it's not. Is there anything else you want to say?
Merry Christmas Eve.
Yes, even though this will get posted later.
This will get posted later. This is, after all, the day before Christmas Eve.
You're right. We recommend that you listen to this on December 23rd of 2021.
No.
Listen to it once when it first comes out, and then wait 51 weeks and revisit this project.
41 weeks.
51.
51 weeks.
Yes.
No, that's insane. It's
Merry
insane because we're going to be talking...
Christmas Eve.
Eve.
Why is that insane, babe?
Well, because, I mean, why would you want them to, wait an extra year to listen to this?
No, listen to it initially and then revisit it.
Okay, I get the revisiting part.
Yeah.
And then compare it to
What we're talking about then.
what we're talking about then, yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Anything
And whatever movie or music or show you're watching, I hope it's a good one.
You should really follow us and watch what we're watching, especially if it's a recommendation. All right, babes.
Okay.
Merry Christmas Eve.
Merry Christmas Eve. Until next time.
Till next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.